The shrill wail of sirens pierced the evening air. A woman lay crumpled on the sidewalk, one hand still stretched toward her fallen purse a few feet away. Nearby, a phone with a cracked screen caught the flickering blue lights. A small crowd had gathered around, their phones raised like weapons ready to fire. A voice broke through the murmurs. "She's overreacting. Leave her alone." Alex Harrison gripped the woman's arm tighter, his face contorted with fury. "You want this to get worse?" She lifted her head slowly, blood trickling from the corner of her mouth. But her eyes held no fear, only something fiercer, resolve. "You'd better have a good lawyer, Sergeant." Alex sneered. "You think anyone's coming to save you?" 15 minutes earlier, the sky blazed with streaks of red and orange as the city hummed with life under the fading sunset. Alex Harrison's fingers tightened around the patrol car's steering wheel, his eyes locked ahead. Beside him, Mike Ridge sat in tense silence, his stomach churning. Every shift with Alex tested his limits. "Check that out," Alex grumbled, nodding toward a sleek black SUV parked outside a shabby building. "A car that pricey around here? Stolen for sure." Mike glanced over. A woman sat behind the wheel, dressed in a sharp beige suit, her hair pulled into a flawless bun. She was engrossed in her phone, unaware of their scrutiny. "She's not doing anything illegal," Mike said carefully. "Maybe she's just waiting for someone." Alex let out a sharp, bitter laugh. "Come on, Mike. You know this neighborhood. It's either stolen or she's hiding something. And good cops? They dig until they find out." Mike dropped his gaze, chewing his lip. "They find a reason to stop her." Without another word, Alex flipped on the siren. The blaring sound shattered the street's calm, drawing stares from passers-by. The woman in the SUV looked up and pulled over smoothly. "License and registration," Alex barked as her window slid down. Monica Kelly handed them over without a word, her expression calm. Yet her eyes glinted with a quiet defiance, subtle but unmistakable. "What's the issue, officer?" she asked evenly. "Did I break a law?" Alex gave her a cold smirk, but before he could reply, Mike spoke up. "Sergeant, her paperwork's clean." Ignoring him, Alex leaned closer. "How does someone like you afford a car like this, Miss Kelly?" She didn't blink. "My job, but I'm guessing that's not what you want to hear." A flash of annoyance crossed Alex's face. He stepped back, then, as if losing patience, yanked the door open. "Get out." Alex's grip stayed firm as he hauled Monica toward the hood of her car. The constant buzz of phones recording the scene filled his ears, but he tuned it out. To him, she was just another rule dodger who needed to be taught a lesson. "Care to tell me how you paid for this car?" he snarled, pinning her against the hood. The cold metal pressed against her cheek, but Monica stayed still, her breathing steady, her pulse thumping like a war drum. Mike stood frozen, watching. He knew he should act, but fear of crossing Alex chained him in place. "Officer Harrison," Monica said, her voice cool and composed. "You're making a mistake that'll ruin you." Alex's laugh was shaky this time. "Oh yeah? And who are you to lecture me?" "Some hotshot lawyer." Monica reached into her suit's inner pocket and pulled out a card. She handed it to Mike, her hand steady as if she'd already won. Mike took it and read the text on the ID. "Captain Monica Kelly." His blood turned to ice. "She's our new boss," he muttered, voice trembling. Alex went rigid. Time seemed to halt. His hands slackened, and Monica slipped free, standing tall with effortless poise. She smoothed her jacket and met his gaze head-on. "Sergeant Harrison," she said, her tone cutting like frost, "you just dug your own grave." More sirens wailed closer, slicing through the night. Blue lights danced across the buildings, illuminating the faces of the swelling crowd. Alex stood paralyzed, Monica's ID searing into his thoughts like a brand. "Captain Kelly," he whispered again, as if saying it might undo the truth. But the truth slammed into him hard. The crowd's whispers grew louder, each one a dagger. He threw her down, treated her like trash. He's done for now. Monica adjusted her jacket with calm precision, her face a mask of stone. "Sergeant Harrison," she said firmly, "this is where your career ends." Two officers emerged from the arriving patrol cars and approached her. "Captain Kelly, you okay?" one asked, while the other shot Alex a look of shock and disdain. "I'm fine," she replied, her eyes never leaving Alex. With a curt nod, she added, "Arrest Sergeant Harrison for excessive force and abuse of authority." Alex stumbled over his words, his face draining of color. Wait, this isn't what it looks like. The officers didn't pause. Handcuffs clicked shut around his wrists, the sound sharp and final. Alex scanned the crowd in desperation, his gaze landing on Mike. Mike, he yelled, voice cracking with panic. Tell them, don't let them do this. Mike didn't move, sweat beading on his brow. His heart hammered painfully. He wanted to speak, to back him up, but his throat locked tight. He was trapped. You have a chance to make it right. Monica hadn't said it aloud, but the words echoed in his mind as if they'd always been there, waiting. Alex's pleading eyes burned into him. The crowd watched, but the loudest thing was the guilt screaming in his head. Mike shut his eyes briefly, fighting the shame. When he opened them, Alex was being pushed into the patrol car. Night cloaked the city in stillness, but inside Mike Ridge's apartment, the silence roared. Not from traffic or street noise, but from the storm in his head. Slumped on the couch, hands cradling his face, he stared at the muted TV. The footage of Alex dragging Monica from her car looped endlessly on the screen. Every channel played it, every website shared it. Social media erupted. More police brutality. When will this stop? Justice for Monica Kelly. Mike jabbed the remote, killing the TV. The quiet that followed crushed him even more. He closed his eyes, and the scene replayed. Alex's hands on Monica, the chill of the night, the suffocating weight of his inaction. You have a chance to make it right. Monica's unspoken words haunted him. Why hadn't he acted? Why had he just stood there? Fear was the answer, plain and brutal. Now it was eating him alive. Morning came, and Mike woke with a leaden chest and bloodshot eyes. Sleep had eluded him. In the bathroom mirror, he saw a man wrestling with himself. But he couldn't keep fighting. He had to decide. The inquiry room was stark and silent. The panel sat waiting, pens poised, staring at him. Mike drew a shaky breath. His hands quivered, but retreat wasn't an option anymore. Tell us everything, Officer Ridge, the chairman said. Leave nothing out. Mike closed his eyes for a heartbeat, back beside the patrol car, watching Alex manhandle Monica. The sirens, the crowd's hum, his own silence, all crashed over him again. Alex screwed up, he started, voice rough. I knew he was out of line. I heard his snide remarks, saw him push every boundary. And I did nothing. Said nothing. He swallowed hard, forcing the words out. That makes me just as bad. The room grew heavy with silence. His confession lingered like smoke. Why come clean now? A panel member asked. Mike lifted his eyes, tears brimming. Because silence kills you. And I can't let mine ruin anyone else. Outside, Monica waited. Dressed in an understated suit, her hair barely stirred by the breeze. She locked eyes with him as he emerged. Mike looked away, but she stepped closer and rested a hand on his shoulder. You didn't speak up, she said, her voice free of blame, carrying only understanding. But today, you told the truth. That's what counts. Mike nodded, tears streaking his face. I hope it's enough. She offered a faint smile. It is, for now, but you've got to show the change sticks. Morning sun spilled through the new captain's office windows. Monica Kelly sat at her desk, papers stacked around her, but her gaze rested on a framed photo, kids laughing in a park. It wasn't just a picture. It was her vow. Her proposed reforms had passed, new rules, bias training, an independent review board, all now embedded in the department. The fight had been brutal, pushback from within, anonymous threats, fiery debates. But she hadn't backed down. In a department meeting room, young cadets sat quietly. Mike Ridge paced before them, hands clasped behind his back. I made a mistake I'll carry forever, he said, meeting their eyes one by one. I stayed quiet when I should have spoken. I'm here to make sure you don't do the same. The cadets hung on his words, the silence amplifying his mix of caution and hope. Step up. Don't fear doing what's right, no matter the cost. Silence costs more than you'll ever know. Days later, Monica stood by a park fence along the main road, watching kids chase a soccer ball, their joy ringing out. The faint drone of traffic hummed in the distance, but here, time felt paused. Her phone buzzed. A text from Mike. Thanks for not quitting. You changed it all. Monica's lips curved into a small, heartfelt smile. It wasn't just for Mike. It was for everyone who needed a voice when theirs failed. She gazed at the sky, clouds drifting lazily, a quiet symbol of change, slow but certain. Monica climbed into her car, started it, and eased into traffic. The light ahead glowed red, but she didn't mind the wait. Change took time. When it turned green, she drove on, knowing the war on injustice never stopped. But one truth held firm. A few brave souls could shift the course for many. This story shows that even in the darkest moments, justice can win if we dare to stand and speak. If it stirred you or sparked a thought, drop a comment. What would you do in Mike's place? Subscribe for more stories like this, and ring the bell for new video alerts. Thanks for joining this community. Together, we can make waves.